Hi chums, I did something a bit different tonight. I had a job to do tonight because my mother-in-law phoned and asked me to make a light pull. Now, there were certain specifications. My brother-in-law had a brain tumour removed about 7 years ago, but he has been still suffering. He has 5 different operations, but he's doing okay, but his motor skills aren't great and his sight isn't great. And he's finding when he goes into the bathroom, he's having difficulty, especially at night, finding the cord and the pull to turn the bathroom light on. So he said to me, could you make something bigger for him? And don't make it too heavy because he can't lift stuff that well. And I said, but I'll make it heavy and it'll mean it's easier pulled down. All right, never thought of that. So I made it a bit heavier than it would normally be. So I'll show you what I made and then I'll show you how I made it, okay? I'm trying to work with a camera beside me here and it's a bit awkward, but this is it. This is the boy that I made today. It's a bit of Bethlehem olive wood. There's a 3mm hole in that end and there's a 7mm hole in that end, and it's just finished with wax. Now you can see it's a very, very simple shape, because you have to remember this guy has got mobility problems and sensory problems, so he needs something that's easy to grab and with a wee bit of weight that he can pull down easily on. So it means that there's nothing there to confuse him. If you're starting to put beads and coves and things in, you might wonder where he grabbed it in the right place. So that's it. Sometimes the function comes before the form. Alright, so that's the situation like this. It's like making little boxes for tablets. We all like the tight pop and the tight fit in the lid, but that's no good if you're going to give it to somebody who's got arthritis and they can't get their tablets back out again. So you have to think of what the thing is going to be used for as well. So that's it. It's a very simple, what do you call it, light pull. Now, I'll tell you how I made it, because I should have made a video but I didn't get round to it, and I really, I know what it is too, I don't really think my turning's good enough to do it on video as such, and I'll wait till I get a bit more confidence. Right, first thing you do is take that out. You make sure your centres are lined up, because you need to be able to make sure that your lathe is square. Otherwise when you drill, your drilling's not going to be square, and it's hard enough to drill without having your lathe out of square as well. So we can get rid of that boy there for the time being. Now, how do we decide what to do? This is a piece of ash here, okay? So what you do is, you can get all these fancy drill bits to do this, where it does your step and your cord hole and everything, but this is a much cheaper way to do it, and you don't need kits or glue or nothing, and you can have something made immediately. Right, what you do is to get your length. Right, there's what you need. You need at least that to get as much distance. There's what you need to hold in your drill chuck. That'll be like absolute minimum, right? So then what I do is I mark the end of that drill bit. So we have it marked down to there. Okay, so we know how far we can go with that drill bit. But we also have to make sure we can get the string in the other side. So that's a 7mm drill bit. This is a 3mm drill bit here. And it has to go further than the end of the thing, because you want to make the hole. So there's where the two holes should line up, but give yourself about 1 centimetre, because they might be a wee bit off. As long as they meet, it doesn't matter how crooked they are. So give yourself a wee bit 1 centimetre or so, and then mark about another 1 centimetre from this end, because you're going to have to grab this in the chuck as well. So there's it there. So then that is basically the longest light pull you can make with those two bits. Okay, now next part is you mark your centers on the end and stick that. That's a square piece. Well, it's not perfectly square, but it's near enough for my demonstration. The piece I was using today was square, and then you set your oh, that's not back, that's too far forward. Come on, listen now. Right, and then you put your drill bit in to about just approximately where you think you need your depth, about 1 centimetre. Right, so this is pretty safe because it's not going anywhere, it's trapped in there. And then you line the drill bit up with the centre of your wood and then lock your chuck down. So now you know that your wood is square to the drill bit, and then you drill, okay? And you always hold on to your chuck, because it's a terrifying experience when you pull your tailstock back and the chuck's still in the wood, and it does some strange shapes before it actually hits you or hits the wall or something. Happened to me once, and once was enough. So that's okay. Basically, you've drilled your hole in this end, so we withdraw our chuck and take it away. Take our, what do you call it? Our drill bit. That's what it's called. It's called a drill bit. I didn't tighten that, sure, I didn't know I didn't. And then we put our small drill bit in. Same thing, about 1 centimeter, because this isn't really going anywhere. It's not like a handheld drill where if you had it in that far in a handheld drill, it would be quite dangerous, because you're more liable to break it, because you're liable to bend with it. Then you just turn it around. You've got your 7mm hole in this end, so now your 7mm hole goes in here. You don't lock your chuck down, but what you do is you bring your drill bit up into that hole, push it forward, and then lock your blank down. And that means that's lined up for drilling now. So you drill that, still hold on to your chuck, right? And then once you've got that done, you take that out of the way, and we can take our chuck out as well. I'll just set it over here. Right, so then on to the next bit. And this is where we change the change over to working between centres. I'll just open this up to get this out. Now, what we need to do here is to find some way of driving the wood between centres, so we can shape it, you know. Now, everybody gets one of these with their lathe, okay? And you'll notice that on that, there's a little cone. It's like a little point. It's like a cone, right? And that's what you want, because if you put some of these centers, you see, I've got a wee spike there, but it's not. It's really, really thin. But the problem is, if you put that spike into that 3mm hole, if it's thin, it'll rattle about like a stick in a bucket. So you want to use something with a what do you call that there? Like a point on it, or slope size. I can't think of the name. A cone, a wee cone, right? Now the one I prefer to use is this one. This is a Steb center, and they're a great job. So that goes in there, and then you need something to rotate at the end. And we all have one of these with our lathes, revolving center. And look at this, it just goes in there nicely. Let me see that again. It goes in there into that end you drilled, and that squares that up. So whenever you put these between centers, then you know that there is between centers. That there is squared up, and that's squared up. So it means that you can work between centres and do whatever you want to do to it. Now what I did was, at the end here, I left about another 1/4 of an inch or 1/2 centimetre, and then I cut down the sides until I finish that off with a parting tool, and then just finish it off in a bit of sandpaper. So that's it, folks. You don't need any fancy tools to make a light bulb. There's some lovely kits, and my friend Michael gave me some, but I couldn't find them. Michael, I know you'll be watching this. I told you I knew where they were. I have no idea. So that's why I had to do it this way. But as I say, you don't need anything, and all you need is 7mm up that way, whatever size you want. I just had a 7mm, was the one I lifted. 7mm that way and 3mm that way, so you can put your cord in through there, out the bottom, tie your knot and pull it back in, and it can't come out through that hole. So that's it, folks. Bethlehem olive wood. Isn't it nice, isn't it? The wood's beautiful. Bethlehem olive wood light bulb, and there's a nice bit of weight in that too. So hopefully it'll do the job. But you never know. That's the first time I've turned the lathe on for almost a year. So that's it. So all you guys, the woodturn, Robbie and all the rest of you, and Carl, you've all been, and Mike, you three have been a huge influence on me, and you got me going again. So there you go. One light pull, and that's my first attempt for 2014. It's actually got me excited about turning again, and it only took about 10 minutes to do that. It's got me really excited about turning, so that's a good thing. Okay, that's it then, folks. All the best now. Bye bye.